Okay, we seem to be live.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to another episode of Unprinted Pages. We are having our release party for the Onward Adventures anthologies, fantastic tales, and realistic daydreams. With us, we have some amazing people, and some I've never had on the show, and a couple I've never actually met before, but I have enjoyed reading. Hi, Pyle. Hey, Ron.
Good morning.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi.
Hi, Angel.
Hello.
Hi, EF Deal. I can't
F.
speak.
Just F.
F. Okay, F Deal. We'll go with F Deal. That is great. And hey, Joshy. And hey, Stefan. So, how are you guys doing? Thank you guys for coming.
That's how I'm doing.
This live stream is eating into my writing time.
Well, I appreciate it because I can't type, so I'm very, very glad to just be able to talk.
Pyle.
Hire a ghostwriter.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. So, how did we get to Gears Memory?
Well, it's a very interesting story. I'm actually a professional truck driver. I love being on the road, and when I get stuck someplace, I've got to find something to do. So I decided that I was just going to start making something, and whatever was popping in my brain, I was just going to go and write it down, and I sent it over to you. And when I sent it over to you, you actually took it and said, you know what, I like this. And I said, you like what? And you said, well, we could use this for the book. And I said, what are we talking about? Because I still, at this point, have no idea. And that's exactly how that got. As soon as you said, can you finish it? I said, I can, but I don't think it's going to be the full story. So there's a actual mystery to what pages are actually missing from this diary.
Huh.
How did the DD and Gear come to be such a big thing in the story?
So gear had to go into the DD at the age of 18. Basically, I was looking when I was writing this whole thing, and I was thinking about different countries and how they have to go through the military on some of them before they can go ahead and do the rest of their adult life. It's just one of those things that I thought was kind of interesting, and I thought, you know what, we can incorporate this, that the people actually have to go through this, and once they get out of it, they can go ahead and live in these smaller communities.
Okay. As this is your first published story, do you plan on making this like a bigger book, like we are planning with your other things, or do you plan on just adding, making a collection of short stories to continue where he goes?
So there's a couple different ideas with it. It could be a whole bunch of short stories that we could pop here, pop there, wherever, or it could be actually a whole book. And if it turns into a whole book, I've got to figure out how to take the pages that are found and be able to put them in the story of backlogging. So it's going to be one of those situations I think is going to be a little tricky, but it could be a full story. It could have its own book. And if you read it here, you might be able to start understanding to the point that you get a good idea of where it's going to go.
You have a big thing for journaling in your writing. How did you become a love of using the journals to push the story along?
Um, I found out that I write a whole bunch of different notes down, and in my clipboard for trucking, I've went through and I've come to realize that I could possibly make that into a diary or a journal myself because it has a lot of information, and this is how I incorporated it in my everyday into a actual story.
Okay. That makes lots of sense because my dad had pages upon pages of stuff in his journals, and all of them look like John Winchester's journal from Supernatural.
I've even got the paperwork in my clipboard from October 19th of 2019, and that was a load that did not get delivered because I was involved in a rollover accident.
Oh wow. Okay. That I'm glad you lived through that. My dad got really injured in his, and the truck was in pieces. So yeah. Ow. What
Twisted
do
the
you
frame
want
of the
people
trailer
to
two
know about?
inches. What was that?
Um, what do you want people to know about your story?
Um, I want them to know that even in a short period of time, you can come up with something that people are very interested in. And when you do that, it makes it so much better because, you know, you get to share your thoughts on pages. And when you think that it will never be something that anybody would want to read, you get proven wrong very quickly.
Oh yeah. The one thing that I've noticed about all the people here, it's all worth reading. Everything y'all have written and what you have planned in the future. I may not have the faintest clue what it is, other than It may have werewolves. It may involve magic, or it may or may not be a kick-ass dragon story. But it's going to be a good thing. What do you want? Okay, what do you want? I'm trying to figure out how to ask the questions because where do you see him going from here?
So the main character is going to have the whole travel of not just dealing with the problems that they have had since the character got there, but it's going to also figure out why the situation at the end has happened and what a big role this one person that is from the same village has in this entire thing.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I know you had to leave early. Was there anything else you wanted to add before you ran away? Like where to find you, what you plan on writing in the future?
Well, I'm never going to run away. I'm a big guy. It's more like a fast shuffle. But there are some more stories that I have been working on that have been off to the side for many, many years. Years ago, I was told that what I work on was not going to be anything that anybody wanted to read. So there was many different stories that have just been sitting. One of the best ones I've actually started creating came to me in a series of dreams. So as I've had these dreams, I've developed this character, and now this character is absolutely developed himself on pages, which is awesome. And I would also like to get the story done for my haunted house character.
I would too. Okay. That I'm looking forward to all of that. I love your brain.
Oh, there's a come on.
Brain.
I got a husband. I love your brain. Here's the thing. I love your brain, her brain, and his brain, and that thing's brain. The only thing is I'm keeping him. He's
only
keeping Lolly.
I ain't got a brain. It's hollow in here.
But okay.
I will say every single time somebody goes ahead and writes a book, even if it was inspired by something that they've seen or something that seems similar, everybody's point of view in a book is going to be different. And even though it's got pages and pictures, you still, as a reader, are able to come up with a different design than what the writer sometimes intended. And that's one of the greatest things, because when you use your imagination, that's why books come to life so much.
That is very true. Thank you. And I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate being part of this.
Okay. Did you want to go or stay a little bit longer?
I am going to go. That way I can get a lot of rest, because it's 2.5 hour trip where I got to go, and I leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, but it's got to wake up at 4:30. So I wish you guys all a wonderful evening, and it's great to see you guys. And I'm sure later on I will even rewatch this whole thing so I can see what you guys have to say. So have a good one, guys.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See you in the usual places.
Good night, Kyle.
In your nightmares, right?
Yeah. My dad's in my nightmares.
Oh.
Anyway, F. Deal, you said you wanted to go next. So,
Well, yeah, I've had hand surgery yesterday morning, and so I'm kind of weary for the day. And
understandable.
yeah,
So,
but yeah, I'm good.
okay. Where did your story link to any of the stories you have in the other anthologies or novels you have out?
Well, the story that I have in your anthology, which, by the way, is a great collection.
Oh, yeah.
That character came out of many years of D&D, and she just grew a life of her own and a backstory and a history. I did write a novel and many short stories branching from that novel. But this was back in the 80s when people were not looking for badass women. And I kept getting, my novel got all the way to the head editor's desk, at which point the head editor would say, well, why doesn't she fall in love with this character? And why does she resist kissing this character? And it was annoying because she was not a romantic heroine. She was a warrior. Um, she was seeking answers, and she wasn't interested in hooking up with anybody. So it kind of got set aside. But somebody earlier said it in the Facebook chat about characters speaking to her. She just wouldn't shut up. and I wrote collection after collection of short stories. There's a whole collection of her going into the city, and then there's a collection of her leaving the city and going off into the hinterlands, where she ends up being a spy for the prince's brother. And then there's another whole collection where she goes into the Sandlands, and that's where the Way of the Wise comes from. She frees a slave, a young girl, who obviously shows skill with magic, although she doesn't know it. She doesn't know that she has that ability. And so Gwyneth takes her on as an apprentice to teach her magic in exchange for the apprentice teaching her about her culture. So they travel to the Sandlands, and there's a collection of stories of her in the Sandlands, where this slave girl ends up becoming the first woman to own land, which is unique in that culture. So that's where all of this started, back in the 80s, 40 years ago. Nowadays,
The
I
thing
write
that
steampunk.
boggles my mind is it's 40.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to speak that out loud that fast. I'm sorry. The part that boggles my mind, it is 40 years ago, and we're getting old.
Yes. And the funny thing is, too, 40 years ago, I was angrier, I guess is the word, more aggressive, as the main character, is. And I'm not that angry anymore. And I don't know if I could ever write any more stories with her. But but I've turned to steampunk now with two very strong female leads, twins. One is a genius, one is part wolf.
Dude, the more I find out about your stories, the more I'm looking forward to it. And I love that she's like, no, don't. If I'm thinking of the right story, she is like, she has no problem saying what she has to say. She is very true to the way she believes she should be. And also it's like, if you don't like it, I'm still going to say it regardless.
Well, for example, in this story, they are taken in by the vizier, the wizard, and
Yeah.
and the young apprentice is overawed because in her culture, wizards are high, intelligent, learned beings. But Gwenna knows a little bit about wizards, and she's suspicious and overcautious. And in the end, that's what pays off.
Oh yeah. And in this, all your rich worlds, is there a factor that links them together? Or are
That
they
link,
all different worlds?
well, like our own world, there are many cultures. Um, Gwenna's background, she is the child of the queen of another race, the Charter race. I guess analogy wise, you would call it elves, but they're not elves. They're another mortal creature. It's just that they're long lived and they don't associate with humans. And in her particular culture, her tribe, I guess, um, they are considered the Holy Land, and nobody sets foot on their shore. But this human man was shipwrecked on the shore. And because he was so different, the queen took him in to find out who he was, what he was, and ended up marrying him. And those were Gwenna's parents. But her people never accepted him. And so in the end, he was exiled when she was just a child. So her quest, later on in her life, she was exiled. So her quest has been to find her father and her father's history. And that is the realm of the humans. But there are other tribes of these immortals throughout. And I think that's what really enriches the novel. In the novel version that I have, she is teamed up with a priest on a quest, and his companion is another one of these immortals from a different tribe who are known enemies of her tribe. And so there's a lot of, tension in the plot there, but there's also this sexual tension between them. So it makes for a very rich novel, I thought. And so did everybody, but they wouldn't publish it. What can I say?
Well, that's the problem. These people get caught up on what they think others will like. And
Yeah.
you just gotta take it in your your own hands. That's how Fae Corps get created. Nobody wanted Patty stuff. Nobody wanted Cindy stuff. And we're like, fine, we'll publish ourselves and we'll publish those who other people do not want to publish.
Well, and another thing is that 40 years ago, they were looking for romance. Now in the 21st century, I think they're more accepting of kick-ass women who don't need a man.
That is hopefully something I can get my daughters and my son to see. You don't need a partner to be able to progress. You need
Exactly.
you.
You need to
And
know who you are. And that's the essence of the novel, is that she has to learn who she is. And once she does, then she's free to go on to be a mentor, like to Crom. In the second collection, she's just, she gets entrapped by politics and the tension between the prince and the temple. And she says, I don't want anything to do with this. And she writes herself off and leaves. And then in the third collection of stories, where she becomes basically a spy, and she's working with another of the immortals from a different race. And when she realizes that he is in love with her, she says, no, you got this all wrong. And she leaves. So, and this is what frustrates these chief editors, is why is she so willing to confront enemies, and so unwilling to confront someone else's feelings about her. But that's who she is. That's who she is.
Awesome.
Well, that's why I really like the Sandlands collection of stories, because it's just her and Crom, two women, two singers, minstrel mages, working their way through society.
Is there anything you hope that the readers, and especially the younger readers, take away from this? Because you are going to end up in the same pile that Amanda and Angel and Ron are in for the kids to read as they get older.
Well, I would hope that it's something that deals with, we are who we are. We have the skills that we have, and nobody who tries to capture us or fight with us will defeat us. We're just going to plow through and be true to ourselves, use what skills we have to fight for our lives. And they are richly rewarded. Because the end of that story is just the beginning of a few more stories where they have this genie next to them.
Dude, my idea of books when I was a teenager, I would have definitely picked yours up first, because I remember finding a smart mouth genie that was helping these two people that were stuck together trying to get through the desert, and I'm like, okay, I gotta find more of this.
Oh, I like that. Do you remember what it was called?
I think it was like Castle in the Air or something like that.
I would have to look for that.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Castle in the Air. But yeah, dude, I love this. What other characters do you have that you hope people find?
Oh, well, I mean, my steampunk collection features two very strong French twins. One is a scientific genius, a genius of many callings, but mostly in engineering. Her sister became a concert pianist at the time of Chopin and Liszt, and she would have rivaled them, except that on her first concert tour with her master, she was attacked by a lycanthrope who turned her into a lycanthrope. And she can't take the stage because as soon as she's overcome with emotion, she becomes a wolf, which, it's not very good for the audience participation. So, but these two, it starts off with on their way home from Paris, where the sister, the wolf, has been on the run from the police because she's a bit of a bohemian. So her older sister, Jacqueline, rescues her and is taking her back home when their train is halted by a rogue automaton that Jacqueline then takes back to her workshop to discover that it's actually powered by a ghost.
Uh-huh.
And so that gets them deeply embroiled in a big political plot to use the skulls from the Paris catacombs to power an army of these automatons to start a war in Russia, which would put France at a great disadvantage.
Okay.
So, yeah, and those two, I've got 3 novels and several stories in anthologies on my website that you can dig out. They are really enjoyable characters.
And we have all those links in our Fae Corps book club if people would like to go look there and find all the other amazing posts from all the authors who joined today.
Yeah.
And the book author takeover. Where do you want people to find you most? Like if they wanted to talk to you on the social media.
On social media, on Facebook, absolutely. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm FDeal in both places. And my website is fdeal.net. And it's very easy, EFDEAL.net. And there's a shop where you can also buy some of the books, the steampunk books that I've been in, as well as a couple of short stories that I'm putting out as booklets. So I'm available.
That is awesome. Were you wanting to stay for the rest of the show, or were you wanting to go ahead and go rest?
I'm actually going to go rest. I took
Okay.
I took all my medications at 9:00, and now I'm kind of fading.
Okay.
Jenny, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate being in this incredible collection with these amazing stories and poetry, marvelous poetry. Thank you.
Oh yeah. There's so many great people. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for letting us enjoy your beautiful world and giving me a way to find the rest of your world, because I was just blown away. I'm like, holy cow, this lady has a decent catalog of work I've got to go see. Okay.
I'm very glad. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay. All three of you said I'm not in a rush and I'm not going to go next. Who's going to raise their hand?
I'll go next. Amanda doesn't want to go next, so I'll bite the bullet. You know me, I don't mind.
And two of you are now all three of you have been heard by my kids, but two of you were read by my kids beforehand. But thank you again for my little monsters book. She loved getting the birthday present.
Yay, I'm so happy. And I meant to change my name to Mina Rain, since that's what I used for the story, but I forgot to. So you're good, Angel.
That's fine. I've been messaging.
Actually, I don't remember if I did even Angel with your story. I don't remember.
I don't know. It's
either one. It works. There's nothing bad in that one in my story anyway. So either way,
it's been a very long party day, and my brain's crashing.
Oh yeah, I know. Like
random
was
stuff.
I under Angel? No, I think I was under Angel, since it's based off of my D&D characters.
Yes,
my D&D campaign.
I love that you had a tavern in your story, and so tell us about your story.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember the name of it. I wrote it down. Where did I write it down at? Hunting the Immoral Serpents. Okay, so it is actually based off of my D&D campaign. I have been playing D&D with the same group from Canada for over 4 years now, and we started this adventure where we heard about a rumor about bodies being dumped in a lake near a halfling village. So we go to the village, and we get the information from them. But instead of following the rumor, we went a different route and did some other stuff. And I was like, what happened with that rumor? I mean, come on. Bodies are being dumped in the lake. Come on. So my mind was like, I told my DM, I said, hey, are you okay with me basing a story off of this? Names will be changed and everything, but it's still going to be based. He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, I don't care. So that was how I got it started, because I was like, what's going on with these bodies being dumped? Who's doing it? So I decided it was cultists. They're doing human sacrifices to try and bring their dark god through, and it's like, no, we need to stop them.
And I love that.
And now that I've written that little short story, I'm like, the character's like, well, okay, now we need to have more adventures. So there will be more adventures coming for them.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, hey, will there be more? What is your character doing? Does the other lady come back after the funeral?
I actually do plan on having. I mean, in our campaign, she doesn't because she's my character. But in the stories that I'm writing, yeah, she will come back and join the campaign again. Yeah.
Okay, because I figured in the book series you can do anything you want.
Yeah,
In the
exactly.
campaign, there's rules.
Exactly. So, but the only reason I changed characters was because I wanted to try an artificer. You know, she's almost a tank. She's like, her armor class is one lower. Our tank, who is a dwarf, his armor class is a 23. My artificer is a 22.
Dude,
She has
so
hit
sorry
points
about
of
that.
66. His is 72, so she's almost got as much hit points as he has. Hi.
You're two authors behind. I'm just going around the circle. You'll have to rewind and watch later. But anyway, okay, you got an artificers. I can honestly say I love that. That is what Calypso is. Dude, what?
Yeah, I was playing a druid and decided I wanted to try out the artificer, and my DM was like, okay. So we sat down and we discussed which weapons he would allow her to have. She has a blunderbuss. I'm like, I'm cool with that.
Oh,
yes, the ACs are awesome. she is a strong sucker. And she gets because I would do that with my druid. I would run her in like she was a tank, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a backup healer. What am I doing? It's like, so no, we gotta try something different. I have a little addiction to making characters because I have like 17 backup characters.
But the thing about this as a writer is you can always break them down or use them as characters in other stories.
Yep, exactly.
Give them a backstory. Because, dude, you can take it anywhere. That's what I've seen that done with other authors, and I've decided to do that with Calypso. That, yes, please. Pile and F Deal, you gotta go hear what they have to say. I'm looking forward to hearing what these beautiful people have to say. So yeah, okay, all this came from a D&D campaign that you wanted to finish the story, you wanted to have it in for yourself, and you said you're going to continue, and you have 17 different characters. Does that mean that there's going to be random characters popping in and out, or that they're going to
probably will. I probably will bring some of the others in that haven't played yet. I have two that I have played. They were both druids. The one I played her for 3 years, and then he did a party wipe. I cried. I cried. Which, I mean, after 3 years of playing the same character, I was attached to her, and he realized that he had the bad guys were just a little overpowered for our party. So when we went back in with the new party, he he adjusted that so that we didn't go through that again like right away. But we say our DM is always trying to give us he's always trying to wipe the party out, because like this last battle we had, there's 6 of us in the party and we had like 25 that we had to fight against. It's like, what? So we tease him all the time. Tell me he's always trying to wipe the party out. He's like, no, y'all can handle it. What?
That is amazing. That is painful. Luckily, Raz has not been that mean yet. He may get that mean later. But yeah, dude. Okay, so this is a different series from your normal series.
Oh yeah.
Your shifters from NOLA, and you have the young adult series and the steamy adult series are considered spicy.
No, my NOLA series is spicy. I mean, the first couple of books were more just steamy, but like the last book I brought out, the 6th book in the series, that one was extremely spicy. I think there's like 6 spicy scenes in it, and it's like 30,000 words. Because the characters just would not. I'm like, what are y'all doing? My characters just do whatever they want. I just write what they tell me. I don't even try plotting because I can't. They run roughshod over me regardless. So
report.
Huh?
You just write down the incident report.
Yep, exactly.
Dude, is there a difference in writing the shifters in a mindset than your D&D?
Yeah, well, with my shifters, especially under Angel Nix, I focus more on them as people versus them being shifters. Their characters are okay. The difference between spicy, the difference between spicy
Yeah, I
and
was
steamy.
gonna.
Okay, do you want me to explain, or would you like to?
No,
'Cause
I
I
was
saw
gonna
it
ask
pop
you
up.
to explain that after you finished what you were saying
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. No,
about the
I'll answer
mindset.
this question because if I don't, I'll forget. Anyway, wait,
Okay.
what was I saying?
Okay,
See, this
let's
is
go
I
back to
have
the
a bad
mindset.
brain.
Is there a difference between
Okay.
the
Yeah.
mindset between writing for the D&D and writing for the shifters?
Yeah. Because with my shifters, yeah, they I focus on them as people who can shift, but there's a lot of romance in it. With my D&D, it's more just adventuring. If a little romantic stuff happens in there at some point, great, but that's not the focus of that stuff. It's more the adventure and being a kick-ass characters. So yeah, the mindset is different, but I'm having fun doing it.
Okay. So
Okay,
please explain in an understandable way.
I will. The difference between spicy and steamy really just refers to the amount of sex scenes within the book. In a steamy romance, you might have one or two. That's called a mild. Steamy is basically more of the mild. You'll have foreplay and flirting and things like that. But when you get to the spicier stuff, you're going to have a lot more, and it's going to be more graphic. Whereas some people kind of with their steamy romance, they're having sex, but they don't have a lot of graphic language in it. With the steamier stuff, you're going to get the dirty talk, you're going to get the dirty words, you're going to get graphic descriptions of what they're doing versus just they had sex. So I mean that's kind of the basics between the two. And then there's erotica, but that's a whole new genre. That's a whole different thing because erotica is just based on the sex. It's like plot? What plot? No, we don't do that. I don't write that, but I do write spicy.
Understandable.
Not that I'm throwing shade at anyone who writes erotica, because I'm not. No shade thrown. I read some of it, so it's just not what I write.
We don't shame genres, although if we have questions, we will respectfully ask them because we'd like to learn too.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think I'm going to call my genre of writing brain erotica.
Yes. What do you which one's more enjoyable for the writing, or is it a mood thing?
It's a mood thing. And my muse, I love her to I say I have more than one muse. I have to, because I at present have 5 stories that I'm actively writing. I have 130 plus stories to actually write that I have covers for. My muses are killing me. Yeah. I think I'm sitting at 138 now. And I'm writing 5 actively at the moment. But for me, it is kind of a mood thing, because I have one that comes out in November. It's a little darker, and my mind is not in the really darker set right now, so I'm struggling to get it written. But I'm like, it comes out in November. It has to be done, at some point. So
it's supposed to be my birthday present.
Well, I have actually 3 things coming out in November. I have 2 anthologies coming out November 11th that I have put together. They are charity anthologies for veterans. And then the other one that is a novel that's just my book. It's actually under my dark pen name, Jesse Sin, and it's part of the Global Beasts Beauty and the Beast retelling collab that I'm in.
Okay. Well, I don't think I'm gonna tell you like I told Todd. If it comes out in November, I consider it a birthday present.
Alrighty.
And even if I have to buy it, it is considered a birthday present because it came out of my birthday month.
I like that thinking.
Oh yeah. So, do you want to stay for the rest of the show, or are you just gonna?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or do you want to head out?
You know, I'm gonna stick around.
Okay. Cool. Ron, Amanda, which one of you wanted to go next?
I think I heard Amanda say she wanted to.
You didn't, but I will.
I would be appreciative because this is the first time I've gotten to talk to you, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that you came. So I've only seen the two, but I'm not sure if you have like a pin name that I don't know about. The Claiming Her Wings and the one in our anthology with the fun quest you have him go on. Is there more?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No.
I don't you think I'm rushing? Because that is not what this is. This is making sure I'm on the right page. So, your story goes from it explains how the first one is a lot of pomp and circumstance, and then it goes to meh, I got a letter, and him just being rude. How did the story come about and you picking such great characters?
Well, I started actually with the title, The Seventh Quest. So I knew I needed 6 other ones. And it was just, what do you do with a character who is a reluctant hero at best and lazy at worst? So he'll do it, but he doesn't really want to. So he's not going to put in any effort.
Are you writing about my life?
Maybe.
And to explain, Mike, you know how I give everybody the option, if you don't want to show your face, you don't show your face. But we would love to hear your voice and about your story. This is one of those times where we get the Amanda's voice and we enjoy every single nanosecond. So, okay. And his quest, the Diamanate, I can't even remember how to pronounce the sheep's right name. And the other things, this story, please forgive me for sucking at the names and such, but so he went on to be a reluctant hero and he does the things and begrudgingly. What has been your favorite part about the writing process of this?
Just having a character that doesn't really want to do it. I mean, most of the time you read and it's just like, yes, we'll do it. Okay. But he's like, I don't want to. And the whole backstory with that is that he lives in a village where everybody has a place and they know what to do, but he doesn't. He hasn't found his place. And when you can't find your place in this village, you get sent on a quest. And normally it only takes one. Most people, that's why it's such a big deal, because it's like one and done. And each quest pushes him to find like a career path, I guess you would call it. But he didn't want to do any of it. He doesn't want to. He waited to collect the water because he knew he didn't want to work with the apothecary. He doesn't want any of that. And then he didn't, trying to think of all the quests. And then the Diamante Ardiac, I'm not even sure of the pronunciation. So that would have led him to be like in the clothing industry, like a weaver or something. So all these things, he just doesn't want to do it until they're like, finally, you know what? You have to do this so we know what to do with you. Because sometimes I think we all feel just a little lost, you know, and we don't know what we want to do.
Yes. How in this land of yours did it become such a period? We must find out what to do with you. We must do something with you, and you must do the thing. Become such a ingrained thing.
It's just the way they've always been. They hold on to their traditions. There's so much that didn't make it onto the page, but they
I know,
have.
but I'm nosy.
That's okay. I love talking this. It's great. Don't worry about it. They have really good leaders in their village, and they just want everyone to contribute so that they can all live good, happy lives. I mean, that's
Okay.
their mindset.
You had a story. I'm sorry. It's been a good 3 years since I've read it last. In Claiming Her Wings, did it at all link together with this story, or is it completely different? Everything.
There is a possibility that the seventh quest will have more to do with the crier later on. Samuel may be important for Lyriel in the crier, but I'm not going to tell you how, because that's just no.
Oh. I'm not saying you have to tell me how. I'm just wondering if it's one of those things like with Des Jensen and the story in the Dragon Within links straight to her next 3 novels. So it's one of those, am I going to want to read it all together, or am I just going to enjoy reading it separately? You know, that sort of thing.
Separately for now. And
separately for now? Okay.
Yes.
That is awesome to know that later it will be linked. What you have amazing world building. Is there what do you like most about the world you have built?
The dragons. How can you not like dragons? And the magic, just having something different than what we have.
Oh yeah. That is an amazing part. I love it. Speaking of someone who currently has a dragon puppet laying beside their bed because a kid is like, can I just leave this here so he'll be safe? Because apparently mommy and daddy protect the dragons. Dude, okay, you have dragons, you have amazing ornamental sheep. What? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't get past the ornamental sheep. And it was my quest, and I'm like, this is not the quest I expected, but it works. Still trying to figure out how that one happens, but anyway, dude, okay. I'm just so happy that you're finally here. The questions have and the tiredness are just like, you know what? I'm gonna hide. What? Okay. Between the 2 worlds or the 1 world, what has been your favorite side character? Is there one that you want to like take and have a coffee date with?
Believe it or not, I really like the Groot slang. I know it's weird, but like, could you just imagine like going on a quest with him? I mean, and that could be a future possibility for Samuel as well.
That would be great.
Yeah.
All the quests are going to be fun. Any quest you write is going to be fun. Yeah, I fell in love with your. I say fell in love with you, but I hope you understand. I just want your books. Nothing beyond that. I knew with that one story you are going to go far and you're going to write amazing tales. And I've just been waiting until you like pop up again. Did I expect for us to go from there to me being in an anthology with you? No, that was not. I didn't even know that could be a goal.
I'm just happy to be published.
Me too, to be
Again.
honest.
Yes.
I knew you'd have a place, whether it be with us or any of the other publishers that we know. You are great. So, what is in the crier? What is the one? What has been your favorite part about that story?
How she has to dig deep to access her magic and how it's forbidden. But again, there's a lot of backstory that doesn't go into the actual story. Just how she has to sort of fight for her place.
Yeah. Is there is your magic system different from the like mainstream magics, would you say?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. When I want my characters to have a certain kind of magic, I just give it to them, whether, I mean.
That makes sense. You don't, in all honesty, only some people have like this big chronological map of how the magics work. Other people are like, hey, magic happens. Let's put it here. That doesn't make the story less rich. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. What character in the crier would you like to run away, and why would you want to have the conversation with them?
I think Ashrin, because we haven't seen all she's capable of yet. She was sort of just the sidekick to Lyriel, but she is going to come into her own at some point.
Okay. What type of stories do you have? Well, most definitely your beautiful magical world, probably. But what do you have moving forward? Are you planning on writing?
I'm actually working on a pirate story. So all of the information that's been posted has been very helpful.
You're very welcome. If you want me to send all the graphics, I can send like the base graphics to you if you want to keep them. But that is cool.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. Ron's writing a pirate story too, and somehow he decided, I'm going to invite the Pirates of Ohio. What? Okay, you're going to... Okay. Is there going to be like lady pirate captains, or what fun ways do you are you going to bring your world to life? Just a tiny tidbit.
They're actually sort of ghost pirates who have been cursed to right their wrongs, so they can't move on in the afterworld until they do. And then we have one who has escaped, and he's going to try to transfer his curse onto his bloodline.
My two favorite things in a story. I love you. I can't wait to read this. Okay. I would like the beta.
Awesome. I need those.
Dude, you now have a team. Just tell me or Patty is like, hey, I need somebody to help me read this. We will hop in, and she will read faster than I can because I have 3 kids. So it will take me more of a day, and her probably like 5 minutes.
I'll need those graphics too, because I have a female pirate captain story that I've been working on based off of a role play from years ago. So I'll need that stuff too.
Okay. I will send
I
you guys
smell a new anthology theme in the works here.
We just need to get our publisher in on the details. Okay, cool. Is there what do you want fans to take away from both your stories?
Just to never give up. I mean, even though Samuel doesn't really try, I mean, you can see that he gets determined later on. But that wouldn't happen if he gave up.
Alrighty. I love that. That is definitely something I am trying to instill into my little monsters. I say monsters because one's a werewolf, one's an animatronic, and I think the other's a unicorn today. It changes daily. Okay. Where do you want people to find you?
The only place I am right now is Facebook.
Okay. Are you going to hang out for the rest of the show or run away?
I can hang out.
Okay, cool. So, okay. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for letting us publish your story, letting me be in a book with you. I so appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome, and I appreciate you too.
Thank you. You definitely stay amazing. Ron. Grog, how did we go from all the different things that inside my nightmares with the ghosts and the animal potions and the hearse racing to Grog?
Ron is not a one-trick pony.
No, you're not.
Ron has several ideas and is capable of writing in pretty much any genre that Ron decides that he wants to write in. I am not going to limit myself as an author. While I do primarily enjoy and mostly stick to horror, which I think is a strong suit for me, it doesn't mean that I don't have other ideas that I will stick to in other collections and other anthologies. I do have several short stories that I have written, which will be included in my next collection, that are non-horror related and are all about exaggerated reality or altered reality in some way, and that will be the theme of the next collection. So I'm thinking very much seriously about calling that particular collection either exaggerated reality or just altered reality, and leave it at that, since all of the stories follow that theme. But that is a ways out because I still have to finish this damn novel, which is very much horror related, very dark horror related. It starts out bad and gets progressively worse.
What I've read is definitely one of those, well, that takes comic horror to a new level. But okay, let's get back to Grog. Tell us
Grog.
about the world.
Yeah, you asked a question about Grog, and I completely just went off tangent. How did I get to Grog? Well, like the others in here, I am also into role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. I did play a bit of Dungeons and Dragons in high school and college, although it has not been something that I have continued as a regular pursuit of interest. I somehow found myself addicted to the game EverQuest. I started playing back in 2001. At the time, I was working for Sony at their technical response center in Florida. So EverQuest being a Sony game, or owned by Sony at the time, in conjunction with Verant, several of my coworkers played as well. And I'm fresh out of college. I'm living alone. I got me a full-time job, making decent money. I got no life. So one of my coworkers, this guy named Lance, he says, Ron, I don't know why you don't play. I mean, you live alone, you're single, you have no life. And I was like, don't make me more depressed than I already am. But that sort of, it made me think about it, and I went out and I bought the game for my birthday that year and started playing in July, right after my birthday. Back when the Ruins of Kunark was the latest expansion. It was the second EverQuest expansion to come out. So, and I told Lance I didn't really want to start playing because I know with my kind of personality that if I started playing that I would get addicted to the game. And that is precisely what happened. But it wasn't that big of a deal for precisely the reasons mentioned. I lived alone. And as long as I showed up to work on time and did what I was supposed to do, nobody cared. Who cares? So I spent the majority of my waking hours playing EverQuest. And I go to work, come home, play EverQuest, sleep for a few hours, go back to work, and wash, rinse, and repeat. So Grog came out of that. Orc is one of the very first starter races that your character goes up against in EverQuest. EverQuest takes place in a fictional land called Norath, and there are several continents within the game, Antonica being the primary, where most people first start if you are a human or a half-elf type character. So I run around Norath, and orcs are the low-level characters that everybody kills. The yard trash, basically, is what they call it. So you run around, and orcs are expendable because they respawn at an alarming rate. So you can gain a massive amount of experience points very quickly just by killing orcs over and over and over again until you finally outgrow them and you move on to other camps. And Grog sort of came about because there are two camps in this one zone called East Commonland, Orc 1 and Orc 2. I spent a great deal of time at both of those camps. And that is essentially where Orc training camp takes place. While it's not specifically named in the story because it does not technically take place in Antonica, it is very much largely based upon Antonica and Orc 1 and Orc 2 in the Common Lands. So that's pretty much how it came about. I started the story maybe somewhere between 2003 and 2005 when I was living in St. Pete, Florida. I was working part-time at Kmart and going to school full-time at St. Petersburg College to get my associate's degree in computer networking. So I'd spent the time I was not working and the time I was in school playing EverQuest, and that's about the time that I came up with the idea for the story and wrote it. And the original rough draft of it actually did use a lot of the phrasing, the sayings, and names in EverQuest. But then I realized once I could get this published that I could not use that intellectual property. Otherwise, it comes across as a fan fiction. And I hate fan fiction. I loathe them with a passion. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be known as the guy that writes, bad fan fiction. So I went back through and edited the entire story so that it would live on its own. While it's highly inspired by EverQuest, it does not necessarily take place in EverQuest.
That is awesome. Does any of it link back to any story you have so far that you have written?
No, it does not. In fact, I can't think of any other story that I've ever written that is even remotely related to Orc training camp. And I've written a lot of stories, and this is a one on its own.
Yeah, I can honestly say none of it is like anything I've read of yours. Okay. What about the story are you hoping readers take from it?
What about the story am I hoping readers will take from it? Well, if it gets them interested in playing EverQuest, then that would be great because the game is well over 20 years old and they have many, many, many expansions. And it's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to exactly say it's on its last legs, but I'm not exactly sure what all they can do from this point on to keep the game fresh that they haven't already done. So I'm not entirely certain how much longer the game can last before they finally decide we're not making enough money to keep this game open. It's owned by Daybreak Games now, which split off, and Sony is no longer involved at all. Daybreak is its own entity, and they still try to release new content periodically or to put new servers out there with different themes, different progressions, so on and so forth. And I still enjoy the game, but I find I don't play it nearly as much as I used to. So my knowledge of the game sort of stops at the Planes of Power expansion pack. And there have been several expansions since then. And I don't know, it's sort of regurgitating a lot of the same things over and over again. It's still a great game. It's the OG. It's the icon that I think set the standard for a lot of games that come after it. The graphics are still old school because they haven't really updated the graphics engine in like ever. So there are better looking games out on the market, but if you want nostalgia, if you want how games used to be back in the early 2000s, then EverQuest is your go-to game. Now, I've seen a bunch of other games, but somehow I always keep finding myself coming back to EverQuest. Despite the fact that I've been playing it on and off sporadically for the past 24 years, I still enjoy it when I do log in to play. And I would like to think that that's what people would get out of it. It's not a dying art form. It's very much still there if you learn to appreciate it. And I guess the same thing could be said about the stories that we're telling as well. I don't use AI for any of my writing. It all comes from my head. I absolutely, positively refuse, and I will fist stomp that I will never use AI when I write. It comes out of my head or it doesn't get written at all. And so everything that you read in Orc Training Camp, any of my other stories, it all came from my brain. And I would like to think that actual writing is still a valid art form and that AI will never completely take over.
Oh yeah, because I can honestly say I can't picture AI giving me anything as awesome as you or Angel or Amanda or F Deal or Pyle has made, or any of the random weirdness that comes from the guy who's hiding over here.
Me.
He's the bewildered beast. He's the bewildered beast in disguise, parading as a human.
Stop snitching.
So, tell us about Inside My Nightmares. What was your favorite story in that?
Oh man, don't ask me that. That's like asking a mom which one is your favorite kid. Which mom can say, well, you're my favorite, or they say I love you both equally.
Okay, Dante's my favorite block builder. Soapy's my favorite storyteller. Cassie's, I'm trying not to put up that finger. Cassie's my favorite, because I don't want to flip anybody off. Cassie is my favorite at analytical and figuring out quick movements on games. Thinking around.
So they're all your favorites, but for different reasons. And I could say the same things about my story. They're all my favorites, but for different reasons. A Christmas Wish is a little bit of a tearjerker, and most of the people that have read the book, all one of you out there, everyone says that they like A Christmas Wish the best. Now, granted, I don't necessarily. I'll catch the rest tomorrow. All right, bye, Mike. I don't necessarily see a lot of the stories in the book, or not all of the stories in the book, as straight up horror, but they all do. they all do center around the supernatural, ghost stories, or something supernatural happening within the story. But every story in the book was inspired by a dream or a nightmare, and that is the one central theme of the book, is that they all came from dreams or nightmares. The same with A Christmas Wish, and it's kind of a ghost story, a little bit of a ghost story, but it's very much based on I wouldn't say it's based on me as a kid, but it's very much based on my mentality when I was a kid. The main character in that story feels pretty much about Christmas the way that I felt about Christmas, and sometimes still do feel about Christmas. Urban Legend is a Halloween ghost story, but you have to wait till the big reveal at the end in order to figure that out, that it actually is a ghost story, and it is based on an urban legend. Now, the urban legend itself, as it's told in the story, I made up. It doesn't actually exist. I made it up specifically for that story. So, like I said, no AI here. It comes from my mind. That's what gets written. But Urban Legend and A Christmas Wish, to me, they're both kind of in the same vein. And they're feel-good stories when you get right down to it. But then you get the straight-up horror stories, like Late Night Phone Call, or Date Night, or Dream Home, Patient Number 12. That's a straight-up horror story, in my opinion. It's also the longest story in the book, but it's the one story out of all of the stories in the book, I think that would be most triggering to people because of some of the content that it deals with. And maybe 13 to an extent. 13 could also be somewhat triggering, but even 13 is a ghost story. But you also have to get through the reveal in that story to figure that out as well, that it is a ghost story. So some of them are more horror related than others, but all of the stories in the book, they did spawn from nightmares and dreams that I had. Late Night Phone Call is one of my favorites in the book, because to me it's the most vivid. Imagery wise, to me it's the most vivid. Seeing the swirling in the corner of the room and watching the winged creatures fly through the swirling portal that's up in the corner of the room. Could you imagine waking up at night and looking up in the corner of your room, and instead of seeing your sleep paralysis demon, you see fucking demons flying through a portal in your room and attacking the person that's sleeping next to you? I mean,
trading out demons? No, I don't want to trade out demons. I'm good.
But yeah, I mean, to me, that one is the most vivid imagery, I think. So I love that story just for that imagery, and I still see it in my mind. I don't know if other people will see the same image that I do, the way that I see it in my mind. I don't know if other people will see that, but damn, it still scares the shit out of me when I think about it.
That is understandable. Okay, I can't remember if I asked Angel where you want people to find her. Okay, you know what? Let's ask Angel, where do you want people to find you?
I am on Facebook under author Angel Nix. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok. They're all author Angel Nix. I kind of tried. I did that to make it easier for people to find me. They're all the same thing, author Angel Nix.
I apologize about that. I've been in one of the groups more than I have the others because I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Oh, you're fine.
And I'm like, surely. But yeah, I apologize for forgetting that.
Oh, you're fine.
Ron, where do you want people to find you?
Are we done? Or are we
No,
wrapping this up?
I'm doing the thing in case you guys decide to leave before we get done with ours.
No, I was going to keep going till 3:00 in the morning. The last time we
Okay.
did a book release party, we went for like hours and hours and hours.
Oh yeah, we've had book release
I'm ready to
parties
go,
last
man. Let's
until about
do
3 in the
this.
morning before. Okay, great.
I'm ready to get
Josh,
Dell in
so
here
we
to read us
were.
Alice in Wonderland again.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not even sure if she's awake yet. But so we were walking through Martin Park, and we were taking the kids trick or treating.
Yes.
Tell us about the different things you saw. And sit up, please, and join us. We had chairs removed because the owners took them, so now we just have the bed and the one chair I'm sitting in to explain that. So please continue.
Well, for the most part, I wound up going around while watching the kids get their candies and everything. I was looking at the park where we were at, just kept seeing interesting little like paths and stuff that is not really on the path, but just kind of withered into the trees. So.
Okay. And we took some pictures that were off the path. Did you have a favorite part about the fall day we were having and the path and the different parts of the woods we saw?
Not right offhand. I just was enjoying the being out of the house and out with the kids.
Okay. I should probably explain the bewildered beast part. So we have this buddy, Raz the Slasher. He is a great author and he's been in movies. He likes movie making. He likes all sorts of different things. And we have a future project called The Bewildered Beast. And he has this thing of saying, behold, the bewildered beast was here. And part because we get the idea of what the bewildered beast is, we just randomly picked pictures from our the pictures we took. And I suggested those because we were not going to put in not all the kids were ours. And the kid pictures themselves didn't go with what was happening, although you will find one of the kid pictures as her artist picture in the books from that, because she decided she liked her Halloween costume she had most because it's a cosplay from her favorite game. But the bewildered beast, you're not likely to find the beast. You're only likely to find where it was. So that is how we chose to name all the pictures. Behold, the bewildered beast was here because of that future project. But also, the Martin Park is gorgeous, as you guys saw in the pictures. And if you ever come to our area of Texas, I do recommend either camping there or walking around or whatever. It is one of the most beautiful places just to hang out. But was there anything you wanted to say about your pictures? Do you remember what pictures you put in?
Not really. I don't remember things well for the simple fact that I spend most of my time running and working and trying to.
This is one of them. Sorry, I found a way to pull them up, and I'm trying to give him an idea of what he did.
Oh, you're fine. I was gonna say I get that having the memory stuff because I have a neurocognitive disorder that that I have complements of COVID, and when I think of something that I have to do, I have to put it in my to-do list immediately, or it's gone into the abyss. I will forget words, and I'll sit here going, "Oh yeah, that's the word," kind of thing. So I get it. Trust me.
Dude, I go through that a whole lot. And there is one that we put up for you guys to see because seeing as I'm the wifey, I'm just like, you know what, we're gonna show this. And that's one of the ones I've been sharing. So out of these, the ones you've seen, the dock, the random forest, was there a favorite place that we went to in the park that you want others to go see?
The main part about the park that I enjoyed was just watching the stillness on the water.
Okay.
Just and the stillness, even with the crowds around from the trick-or-treating party, the calmness on the lake almost brought with it a drowning out silence.
So, what do you think? What would you suggest people going out into nature to find?
When going out into nature, if you're going about it safely and like on a hike in safe trails or stuff, I recommend just kind of walking around and finding what area either brings you the most. Basically just listen, and you'll have places that they'll either bring you the most peace or the woods will pretty much speak to you. I'm not really good with words. I'm dyslexic as hell. But at the same time, if you find yourself in nature in a more forceful circumstance, I would recommend not spacing out and listening to the woods too much.
Alrighty.
You'll find yourself as the guardian of the trees.
Yeah. Or
Now you'll find yourself the fertilizer of the trees.
And your spirit wandering around. Okay. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? Okay. Yes, he did not expect.
I am Hermity.
So yeah, he did not expect to be in anything. He did not expect me to take his picture to say, hey, Patty, these are great. He can take pictures, and he doesn't believe any of his work matters, just like Kyle did. And I'm like, nah, that's not how it works here. Okay. Calypso started out as a gnome artificer with a spoon for a weapon. You can find her in our D&D games that we have up on the Owlite Network. But JD Astra had taken Dolly from hers, and she wrote this beautiful 3-book series where you see the other side of the story. Because in the D&D game, she just left and went on. And you get to see what happens if she stays, and she deals with what happens, and she helps the people grow. So I'm like, okay, but what is Calypso? Calypso is a free-spirited character that doesn't stay. She just goes. She wants to see what she can find. Yes, later on, as you've seen in Return to Safety, she gets a place and she stays. But earlier in her life, like in the D&D games and in the Violent Blossom Tavern, you could see what happens when she just decides, you know what, I'm going to go find out what happens. And the Violent Blossom Tavern came from my sister. She's like, how about you name it this? This sounds like a good pirate ship name and a good tavern name. I'm like, okay, but I'm a tavern person. I'm not a ship person. I like meeting pirates, obviously, as you can see by my friend here. But yeah, in this story, it was supposed to be Calypso's story. Ektra took over the show, as you probably have seen. And he learns things that he never expected to learn about his town people, about his dad, what giants can actually be, and so many other things. And he just decides, okay, let's do this. So, yeah. Did anybody have any questions about her? Okay, this is one of those hard parts where it's flipped and I'm not sure what to say.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Okay, yeah, so where did you come up with the idea for her? I mean, I know she's based off of a D&D character, but where did you come up with the idea for her? Her story, her backstory, her personality.
My mother-in-law has gnome statues everywhere, and she has this one gnome statue that I looked at often every time I hung out with her. I'm like, okay, I love this gnome. What type of personality would she have? What did she do before she ended up here with this guy? Does she stay with this guy? The answer turns out no. She does not stay with the guy. As you will see in Return to Safety if you read Fae Propaganda. And I'm like, but what if I didn't decide to marry Josh? What if I didn't decide to settle down? What type of person would I be? Where would I go off to? And what would I do? So I used that, and I tried to base, around the D&D world of what she could be. And somehow she became this free-spirited, curious little gnome that will whack the heck out of you with a spoon and has a penchant for tea. And she's just like, we're going to go do this. Can I drink this plant? Or is it going to kill me? Sort of thing.
Kind of sounds a little bit like the tiefling barbarian that I have set up. Like, because she's like 5'2". Tieflings. She's not a very tall tiefling. She's like 5'2", and she's got this massive great axe on her shoulder. And it's like, I gotta have her. I saw it as an image that someone had drawn. You know, when I was scrolling through images on Google at one point, and I was like, "That I gotta have her." Yep, she's like barely 5 foot tall, and has this massive great axe, and she's a barbarian.
Oh yeah,
tiny little thing, and she's a barbarian carrying a great axe. I was like, "Yep, gotta do it."
It seems curious to me. It seems curious to me that a large portion of the stories that we spoke about tonight were directly inspired by role-playing games.
Yes. Well, that was on purpose. She is like, I want D&D-esque stories. And everybody's like, okay, I got this.
Yeah, when Jenny messaged me, I was like, I'm in because I've been playing D&D for years. I was like, I have a campaign I can pull from.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, we're talking about stories. I'm like, hey, we have this thing coming up. Do you want to be a part of it? And that's where we are. And now I'm beginning to wonder if Calypso is going to stay a side character, because she keeps being a side character, it feels like. Even in the D&D campaign that I'm in, I feel like I'm a side character, but also I have a fully developed idea of what she's doing, kind of. I'm still new to this. But yeah. Dude, I'm trying to figure out where to go from there, because I have ideas to say about the other stuff, but did you have any other things you were wondering about her or the world or the other characters in the story?
No, because I haven't had the chance to read it yet, so.
Well, I haven't either, but then again, the book's not really out yet either, so.
But you guys all had the ability to go steal it.
Yeah, well, you know, I
know
don't want to lose credibility as an author here, but I honestly, I have to admit, I have not read any of the anthologies that we've put out that I've had a story in. I've really not read anybody else's stories. I honestly couldn't tell you anything about them. And I recognize that that's my own fault, but you know, hey, I forgot how to read. I don't know how to read, and a large reason behind that is because I have a bachelor's degree in English in creative writing, and I had to do a whole bunch of reading when I was in college, and I got burnt out on it. So as soon as I graduated college, I didn't read anything for like, just, you know, and then of course Audible becomes a thing. So I subscribe to Audible, and now I get my literature through audiobooks, so I don't have to read. And the only thing that's really keeping me from reading all of the books that we have put out is the fact that none of them are in audiobook format yet. So we need to get on that. Otherwise, I probably never will get around to reading anybody else's stories.
There is this playlist on Owlite Network that is called Campfire Cinders, where you will find various stories from a lot of the books by our people.
I've got a few on there too.
Yeah,
from my
go
understanding.
listen to those. You'll find stories from the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amanda, did you have any questions about Calypso?
No. I'm afraid I haven't read it fully yet either.
Okay, so you've read to a certain point of like, hey, this quote, or did you just scroll and like, hey, this looks cool, I'm going to put this on the thing?
Yes, I skimmed every story to find the teasers, yeah.
And this lady has style. I'm going to tell you right now, she has a different style from all of us, but her style is beautiful. I love how she made her stuff. I love how she imagines things and what she has made for the party. And then I'm like, hey, I learned something new. I'm going to try that next time. So this lady has style. She has a great imagination and writes great stories. You've got to check her out.
As much as I'm having fun My
You gotta
dogs are
run
giving me that. Yeah, my dogs are giving me that look and looking at the door, and they're looking at me and looking at the door, and I'm like, okay, I get the message. They need to do their business. So I'm gonna log off here. Thank you for having me. Any more anthologies? Just let me know. I'm good with trying to. I can throw something together. Of course, if I
The Killing
just don't
Stroke
let
is
my
next.
I was gonna say, just don't let my friend Ethan know, because he's already mad at me for having. I have 25 projects to get out between now and the end of next year, but over half of them are already written. So, and you know,
that
I'm
works.
working on them. So yeah, get with me and let me know what you've got coming up, and I'll see what I can put together.
Oh yeah, and if anybody's wondering, The Killing Stroke has been put up on multiple places and what the general idea of the anthology is going to be. So please go check it out. It's also on the blog.
I've
Right,
already
so I'll talk
submitted
to you
my
later.
story. I've already submitted my story. Hello, puppy.
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night. I guess we're going to end it here, and we're going to say, guys, please give this anthology a chance. Please give all of the Dragon Within trilogy anthology set a chance. Those were some amazing ladies and amazing stories. And Ron's Inside My Nightmare is great. Onward's Adventure is great. And please, any other anthology by Fae Corps, check it out. We have great books, great poets, great authors. And thank you all for coming. And I guess we shall leave it here because we're like an hour and 41 minutes in. So, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Did either of you want to add anything else?
We can go for another 20 minutes just to round it out to 2 hours.
We can. Or, okay. But what do you want to talk about?
I have been dying to share this pirate story with people because, in my opinion, of course, right now, because I'm in the midst of writing it, I would say it's so good. And then after a while, I'll probably go back through like, this is crap, but no, I do actually like this story, and I'm not even to like the main part of the story yet, because everything I've written up to this point is still build up to get to the main part of the story. So I have absolutely no idea how long the story is actually going to be by the time I finish writing it. But I've got it mapped out in my head, and I just can't wait to get to like the story that I'm actually supposed to be telling. But it's inspired because of the whole new trend of pirate stuff that I've been coming across my feed on Facebook with the Buckeye Lake Pirate Fest. It's an interesting just phenomenon, because Buckeye Lake Pirates started out as a social group back during COVID to go out during Winterfest in Buckeye Lake, and a social group, and we all just dress up as pirates and we go bar hopping around the lake during Winterfest, which is something that takes place every January. And it just kept growing and growing and growing until Kelly Collins, the mastermind, the brain behind all of this, he created the Facebook group, get everybody in there, and people liked it so much. Then he got the idea to do the Buckeye Lake Pirate Fest, and this was our second year putting on the Pirate Fest, and it gets bigger every year, and more people keep getting into it, and to a point now where I'm seeing other pirate fests popping up all over Ohio that didn't exist before, and people are jumping on the trend now, creating their own pirate fest to try to go with that. Obviously, there's a big enough interest, and I'm thinking that as a haunt actor, and Ohio being the massive haunt industry that it is, having over 130 haunts across the state that we know of, and more that we don't, that Pirate Fest has the capability to equal that or to rival that, because a lot of people in the haunt industry also do cosplay and get involved in things like Pirate Fest. It has the potential to be huge. So the pirate story was inspired by all of this new pirate trend that I keep seeing on my Facebook page. And honestly, I can't even remember how I came up with the idea. It just sort of came like fully hatched in my head. Like I knew where I was going with it, and then I kept building on parts of it, because like, okay, I have to be able to explain this. I have to be able to explain this. So I kept coming up with stuff. And then I realized as I keep telling all of this backstory, hell, I'm not even to like what the original story was supposed to be yet. So I'm like really getting into this pirate story, and now I think that the novel, The Last Entry of Grant Gilson, I need to put that on hold until I can actually get this pirate story out and get it done. Where it ends up getting published, I don't know yet. Whether or not we do an anthology that I'll be able to submit it for. But if not, then I will most definitely be including it in my next collection of short stories after I finish the novel. So it might take a while, and it kind of sucks because I really want to get the story out there, but it will eventually get published. I just don't know how yet, but I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay. Most definitely. I'm excited too to find out where it goes and what it's about.
It is about a pirate named Captain Eyre. Captain Eyre is a half Irish, half Englishman, and he absolutely hates the British and will go to no ends to get back at the British. So I personally have nothing against British people. I love them. I think that they're great. But I do have some Irish heritage, mostly Scottish, but I do have some Irish heritage. But for the context of the story, it was necessary to play on that rivalry between England and Ireland back in the 1700s at the golden age of pirates, which is when this story takes place.
Okay. That's going to be an interesting story.
I like it. I'm trying to decide if I want to like maybe post a small teaser of it, but I hate doing that because then I feel like if I do that, somebody might steal my idea, and then but even if they stole the idea, they don't know what's in my head.
Well, I can honestly say yes. I've taken the idea of meeting a fairy in the woods, except I took the idea, but I put a different twist on it. In the original story, she thought it was a genie. In my story, it was on purpose. They were supposed to meet in the woods because the fairy would help her get to where she needed to go, because they had been friends for a long time. She knew who the fairy was, but also the place in the woods where she summoned the fairy was away from the danger. So you can take the idea, but that it will never be the same. Like in all of the dragon stories, strong women dragon stories in the Dragons Within that the Crier is in, that trilogy. It's the only thing is it's a dragon story. How they chose to use the dragons or the dragon powers was up to the author. So you can take it, but it will never ever be the same. And if you haven't figured out, I love that stuff.
This pirate story, it's called The Curse of Captain Eyre's Treasure. Captain Eyre being the main character in the story, but he's not the one telling the story. It's actually another character that's telling the story. So, but everything revolves around Captain Eyre. But there is a lot of backstory for Captain Eyre before we even get to the point that he becomes captain. It goes into a bit of detail about his life before he's actually a pirate captain. And then it has to go through how he gets to the point of being captain before we get to the point where we can explain what exactly is the curse of Captain Eyre's treasure. So it all builds up, it all links together. And I'm thinking that I have to be clever on how I write it, because I want there to be a question that it could possibly be supernatural, but there could also be a rational explanation for it, but you don't know. And I want to leave that question hanging in the reader's mind. Is it supernatural, or is the rational explanation? But I haven't gotten there yet.
That's why we have debunking to find out. So yeah, that I look forward to this.
Did I give too much away?
No.
Are you sufficiently intrigued now? Or?
Oh, I was intrigued to begin with. Ron said, "Hey, I'm writing a story about pirates." Where the heck is this going to go? I know Ron is always a good writer, so it's going to be a thing. And yeah. Then again, if you mention pirates and ghosts, or you just mention ghosts, I'm in. So, Amanda, did you have anything you want to add about your stuff?
Not really.
Okay.
You need to settle down over there, Amanda. You're talking too much.
I know. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so
okay.
I have no clue.
Uncomfortable.
No, I'm not. It's just I have no clue what I'm doing.
Well, that makes three of us.
Join the club.
No, this is made up as we go. If you look at this one, it's been done different than every other one I've done. It changes, but also there's a whole lot of people that I wanted to make sure. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure if this last way I did is going to work, so I'm going to try something new this time around. So yeah, it's always evolving, always changing. And yeah, it's going to be different each time.
Now that you've done it once, your name has been automatically entered into the pool of possible personalities that she will randomly draw upon in order to use you in future episodes.
I am totally okay with that.
Yeah, the next time you have something published, I want to know about it, and I want to bring you on here to tell others about it.
Okay.
There's no escape. There's no escape. You can't get away.
I'm not going to constantly bother you, but I will like say, hey, you've done this. Can I please
one of us.
Yes.
One of us.
So okay. It's like out of nowhere, we're doing the pad challenges like we do every year. And somehow I've turned Serena Mossgraves. I stole the general idea of her, the Twisted Fae, and I turned her into a character in my story. And so now she has a crossover with Calypso and Sage. And I'm like, how does this work? How did we end up here? I don't know. But she's going to end up asking Sage and her family to help her understand her and her Fae to understand more about social media, how everything works and how things have changed. And I'm hoping I can figure out how to write that well.
One of us.
Exactly. Do you have a character that keeps popping up in your mind, Amanda, that you want to write more of or you think more about than the others?
Do you remember? I don't know if you were part of the group then, but the Dirty Ranger romance?
Yes. Wait a minute, you were in that, huh?
No, I wasn't in it. I was in the group, but I didn't publish a story. But I
Okay.
wrote a story. But it wasn't spicy enough, I don't think. For the
You wrote
book.
a story and it wasn't in it? Now I want to know about the story.
Well,
I
it
don't know about
started
the
it started as a short story, but now I think it's going to be a novel. And of course, it has elves and dragons and, you know, typical my writing.
Nothing wrong with that. We want more.
Yes. She's a half elf, half human.
Okay.
And yeah, she was promised in marriage by her uncle to this man, and she escapes. And that's where she runs into the ranger, who will eventually become the love interest and all that good stuff.
Okay. This should be interesting.
Yes.
So she's going to be a novel and there's more? Okay.
Yes, because
What made her go further?
well, it's called Forbidden Magic, and the elves have been gone supposedly for centuries, but that's just what people believe. And then she is going to have to fight these creatures that only an elf can fight. So she may have to burn away her human half through dragon fire. It's kind of all over the place, but I think it should be interesting.
Dude, just because it takes different leaps and bounds in various places does not mean it can't be really good. Okay, I am intrigued. I also want to beta this. I am definitely curious. Because yeah, I can honestly say you've been on my bookshelf longer than everybody else in the group that you've met today.
Oh, wow.
So, because I've met you in the Dragon Within stories, it all started with a con. I met Todd at a con, and then I started paying attention. I got his books, and then I read them and found out what Balance 7 is, and I just continued following along. And then I followed KT Cito from there over to Fae Corps and all her other places because I love her stuff and I'm going to keep reading her stuff. But yeah, it's just grown organically that I just continue following all the authors that were in those books because I love the stories. I even ended up getting that special edition box that they had with Hala's little dragon thing and the 3 books and the pictures and everything.
Yes, that was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you haven't figured out, I'm a big cheerleader for all authors. Also, I want to write and be in anthologies with them. And I have really no idea what I'm doing. So we're making it up as we go.
I think that pretty much describes all of us.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
None of us have any idea what we're doing. We're all making it up as we go along.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of how I write.
Ooh. And in the army run, you will see what happened to the Patty and as to why she's not here. If you're wondering, we have an Owlite Army chat where all our friends from the Owlite Network come to talk and It's just a random stream of consciousness from a whole lot of people.
We post bad memes
Yeah.
and stupid videos.
Yeah, we're all good at that. Okay. Yes, we have made it to that 2-hour mark like you wanted, Ron.
Actually, we've gone over. Now we're at 11:06. So,
Oh, yeah.
hey, good for us. All right. Overachievers.
You're awesome. Woo-hoo! Well, that I went from 2 stories published to now I'm in 11 books. So, overachiever, it is my plan. I am not going to be the scared teenager anymore. I'm
Time
going
to have a drink to celebrate.
Well, I has tea because I still have children awake.
I has the unnamed there is a name for it, but we can't go into that. This is a children's show. It's a family show.
Yeah, they're the girls will at some point see something about that. But yeah, about the show in general. But okay, what is the one thing you want writers to know when they're starting out, guys? Let's start with Amanda.
Oh, why me first?
Oh, because he's been talking a lot throughout the show, and you have said very little.
Shut up, Ron. Gosh.
What would I want writers starting out to know? That you don't have to do it alone. Like, you can reach out to others. I think that's very important.
Yes, you are welcome in the Fae Asylum and the Fae Writing Community groups. It feels like I post more than everybody else, but there are people who are listening, are people who are willing to talk with you. And no, you do not have to publish with us to come talk with us. We will talk with you about your writing regardless of where you publish. I just want to make sure that's out there because we didn't force Amanda to come from Balance 7 to over here. She just decided, I'm going to give them my story and see where it goes.
Yes.
And I'm like, I get to be in an anthology with Amanda. And she finds that somehow I exist. And I'm one of fangirl over all of you. So, Ron, what would you suggest?
Never take a bad review or negative criticism personally, because you can use those bad reviews and that negative criticism to learn to be a better writer. It will drive you to maybe make some changes in your writing process so that the next time they won't be able to make those comments because you changed your process and it has made you a better writer. At some point, you get the negative criticisms or the bad reviews, and then you're just thankful that you're actually getting reviews because it means people are actually reading your work. And in the end, that's what you really want. What's the point in writing it and publishing it if nobody ever reads it? So getting a bad review, getting negative criticism for a story means that, hey, at least that person took the time to read it. Maybe they didn't like it. Maybe it wasn't their cup of tea. That's fine. Not everybody is the same. But it is being read, and that's what matters.
Most definitely. I think I would say you're a writer. You have all those journals with random things, all those pieces of notebook paper, and they can come together and amalgamate into a story if they haven't already, or you already have a stack of stories or a novel you've started and you've finished. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be Stephen King bestseller. No, but that doesn't mean it's not a great novel. But remember, there's things like editing and making covers and beta readers and everything, because they might see something you didn't, and there's a plot hole. or something. And okay, take that, figure out how you want to fix it and where you want to go with it. And yeah, make a world. Have all the stories connected. Have none of the stories connected. It is up to you, but don't just stop after you've written. Fulfill that dream. Self-publish. Take it to a publisher. Small publisher, big publisher, whatever. Remember, if you take it to a small publisher and you self-publish, there might not be that much money for marketing, especially when you're doing it yourself. You might have to find different things until you figure out how to become viral and start being picked up more by just being in the feed. It's not easy, but it is worth it. And remember, use your own style in the graphics, because as you've seen from all our graphics we've posted everywhere, especially with this campaign, you have my mix, you have Patty's mix, you have Amanda's mix. And everybody made something to put in. Everybody wrote a story. Everybody made graphics. Everybody shared it their way. Or they read a piece of their story. You can find some way to make it unique, some way to make it yourself. And do I feel like any of mine are as pretty as Amanda's? No, but are mine, do they reflect my personality? Yes. Or I tried to make them reflect the personality of the author who made them. Like the pirate, or the bloody fairy, or the writer, or whatever. And there's just so much you can do.
And with that being said, I think that it needs to be recognized that you've been hella busy today, being on top of our release party and putting out all of the content that you have today for each one of us. I can imagine that you're probably ready for a break, and you've been doing this for the past couple of days, because it does take time to create those graphics and to organize everything and all of that. So you've been hella busy just pumping out the stuff for all of us for this release party. So somebody ought to give you some props for all of that.
Thank you. But I also didn't want everybody else's stuff to go unnoticed, because there was a whole lot of people to make this thing happen.
Well, when people wonder about the behind the scenes on Owlite or Fae Corps, you are it. You are the behind the scenes.
And I'm still learning, and I'm still picking up things. So, yeah.
I mean, Patty does a hell of a lot of work, because she's the one that actually has to read through all of our stuff and edit it and make sure it gets formatted for the publication and all of that. And that's no small task, considering how many authors we have in our litany now, and the amount of work that everybody is churning out for the different anthologies. So, she's constantly busy. And, that's why we have you that does the social media side of it. So between the two of you, that's a lot of freaking effort.
Oh, yeah. And we just want y'all to feel loved, and like y'all have a place, and like somebody cares about y'all's work.
Well, I would hope that that's the one thing that people will take away from it. All they see is the finished product, and they get to read the stories, but they don't realize how much effort it is behind the scenes to get it to the point where they get the finished product.
Yeah. That was learning how to do this, learning how to figure out how to put it together. And it being my first time. Was it perfect? No. But did I have so much fun with all the people? I am lucky. Okay, beautiful people. We have reached that 2-hour mark. I am tired, and I still have to figure out what to do with my children. And yes, they are being watched. There is somebody with them, so they're not alone. And I think my husband has fallen asleep. So I know he says goodnight. And where do you want people to... okay, you said earlier that you want to be found on a Facebook, Amanda?
Yes.
Okay. And if you look in the Fae Corps book club, you will find ways to find her there. Ron, where do you want people to find you?
Same as everybody else. You can also find me on Facebook under Ronald W. Gillespie Jr. author. It's my author page on Facebook where the wonderful Jenny is also doing all of the updates and everything on it as well. I post on there sparingly, usually when I only have updates on my writing process and what I've been working on. But all of the cool graphics and everything that you see posted on there, it comes from Jenny. So she's the moderator for that page, and so you got to give her props for that too. Is for
Thank
just
you.
yet another responsibility and doing a kick-ass job of it. So yeah, if you find Jenny, you can find me.
Yes, and I will help you find anybody. But if you want to find me, Friday with the Library in the Blue Box, or Jennifer Elliott is my author page. I have random ghost stories and fairy stories and stuff that you can read. And I will continue to share all the amazing people I find. And thank you all for coming. Thank you for being a part of our release party. And I'm hoping it to keep evolving into many amazing things with the many different guests we keep getting. Good night, everybody.
Good night. This was fun. Glad to be here.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.